So today I'd like to talk to you about some big differences between Irish supermarkets and American supermarkets. At least things that I've observed and things that you guys have observed when you were watching my Irish supermarket walkthrough. That video actually did surprisingly well in retrospect for how long it was. I was thinking about doing a Spanish supermarket walkthrough while I'm here in Spain. If you'd like to see that though, let me know below in comments because there's no point in me doing a video that nobody wants to see and just straight up waste everybody's time, money and energy. Before I get into the video, do be sure to subscribe, otherwise your butt's gonna fall off. It's gonna fall off. Like the video too, it helps me with the algorithm and it's free, so I would appreciate it. Okay, so I know in America you guys have Aldi, and there's going to be a lot of things that cross over from Aldi to Ireland because Aldi is a European supermarket, so bear that in mind. Also, we're talking in generalizations as always. Maybe your supermarket has stuff in common with Irish supermarkets, or Irish supermarkets might have something in common with American supermarkets, just subjectively depending on them. Okay, so the first thing is that you have to pay for the trolley. And yeah, I know you guys in America call it the cart.
What's a trolley?
Well, you don't exactly have to pay. You put in a refundable euro or €2 into the trolley and then you get it back at the end. The reason for this is not to make a profit for the supermarkets, because obviously you get your money back at the end. It's so that people don't steal trolleys in Ireland, because apparently that's just a thing some teenagers particularly like to do for fun. Most supermarkets also have magnets in the trolleys, so you can't usually take them anywhere outside of the car park, but people try and they succeed sometimes.
I grew up in Dublin. I love Dublin.
You can also get like a thing that you put on your key ring or your keychain, and it's like a little coin thing, a disc, and you can put it into your trolley. But that's one of those things that you would have to remember to pack when you leave the house, or always have on your key ring. I used to have one. It's like a thing that you get for free when you go to an event, a key ring. And I used to have one and it was very handy, but then I don't know where it went. It's just one of those things. Speaking of things you need to remember to bring before you leave the house, you need to bring a reusable bag with you when you go to Irish supermarkets. If you get to the till and you don't have one and you need a bag, you're gonna have to pay a premium for a plastic bag. Now, they are called bags for life, and interestingly enough, I found out a cool thing, which is that if your bag for life breaks, you can get another bag for free from that supermarket, but I don't know anybody who does that. I have bought so many bags for life over the years and I don't know where they go, they just disappear. The reason we do the bag for life thing is because obviously plastic bags are bad for the environment, so the Irish government just decided that as a nation we would enforce bags for life upon everyone. You have to use bags for life. If you happen to have a plastic bag with you, of course you can use that too, but they're less common in Ireland. It always freaks me out when I go to America and they just hand me like millions of plastic bags with my stuff. Sometimes like they underfill the plastic bag and I'm like, that is such a waste of a plastic bag. But as I understand it, a lot of you guys are bringing in the bags for life there as well, so that's pretty cool. Looks like she neglected to mention that you'll also have to pack your own shopping bags, unless of course there's a charity person there, and then they'll make you feel really guilty and want to give them euro, but you don't have a euro, you only have your card, and then you feel really bad. So basically, usually you end up packing your own bag, and you will or you won't feel bad about it. Next up, you will notice that different sections have much more variety than sections that would have more variety in America. For example, our cereal section, and yes, I'm a cereal fiend, our cereal section is significantly smaller than your cereal sections. Even the largest supermarkets have a lot less cereal choice than they would have in America. In contrast, I noticed a lot of people in my supermarket walkthrough saying that our potato section was very large, which is no surprise. We do like our potatoes in Ireland, with every meal, potatoes and chips and waffles, all kinds of things. When I refer to waffles in Ireland, by the way, I'm default referring to potato waffles. Also, our tea and biscuit selections were remarked upon in my walkthrough, that we had a lot more tea and biscuits, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Again, Irish people love our tea and we love our biscuits. I do not like tea. I like Diet Coke, but I'm weird. By and large, I would say, generally speaking, even the largest Irish supermarkets are still nothing on your Walmarts and your Targets. There's way more choice in American supermarkets. A lot of times in Ireland, if you want one thing in one supermarket, you might have to go there and then go to another to get a different thing. That's not untypical. Another big difference is if you want to purchase alcohol in Ireland, you cannot do so after 10 o'clock. You can in restaurants and pubs, but not in a supermarket or an off license or a shop. You cannot do it. Obviously, that rule was brought in to try and curb people's drinking in Ireland. I don't know how effective it's been, but it's really annoying when you just want to go purchase some alcohol late at night and you can't. It does cut down on the impulse buying. Another big difference is that in a lot of our supermarkets in Ireland, we also have clothes sections. This obviously goes hand in hand with the one store fits all kind of thing, and a lot of people make use of it, buying socks, undies, things like that in the supermarket. Controversially, with lockdown at the moment, a lot of those sections of supermarkets have been closed to the outrage of members of the public saying that clothes are necessary. But obviously they don't want people browsing and stuff, so weigh that up yourselves. Let me know in comments what you think. Is that necessary as a purchase? Of course, we do have express supermarkets that are smaller versions of larger chains, and in those you won't find clothes and things like that. They offer a much smaller selection of things, but some people do use it as their main supermarket. The next big difference you'll notice is eggs. Eggs are stored just on the shelves. We don't have to put them in fridges or anything like that. You'll also notice that they're orange. And I've talked a lot about eggs before, but it's just worth pointing out to an American, if they go into an Irish supermarket, our eggs are just sitting there out in the open. Next thing is the big difference in how expensive things are if they're imported versus if they're just from Ireland itself. On a lot of things you won't notice much of a difference. The prices are very similar except when it comes to imported goods. Now obviously as an island we have to import a lot of things, so you might find that your supermarket shop costs more in Ireland than it would in America. Things that I particularly notice are way more expensive in Ireland are cereal, my favorite thing. Cereal can be like €5 and up. It's very expensive a lot of times unless you buy the home brand, which is like super value cereal or something like that. But you can pay €10 for a box of cereal, and that's just what it is. I love cereal. Why did they take it out on my cereal? Another thing that costs a lot of money that annoys me is magazines. Magazines are very expensive, and I don't remember them being so expensive when I was a kid. I always had the latest teen magazine, and it was usually I think like €1.50, but now most magazines are €5 and up again. It's not uncommon to have spent €12 on a magazine. That seems really crazy for something that's essentially disposable, right? There's a huge focus on fresh meat and meat being 100% Irish, as in not imported. So you might notice that a lot of the meat rivals that of a butcher's. Meat is very, very good quality in most shopping centres in Ireland. When it comes to fruit and veg, a lot of it is fresh and from Ireland, but as you'll obviously imagine, things like citrus fruits are imported. They can't be grown in Ireland. So a lot of times there's a lot of packaging around them, which you wouldn't necessarily find in America. And I found that's come as a surprise to a lot of Americans when viewing our supermarkets. And the number one big difference in Ireland is that when you get to the tills, if you're in an Irish supermarket, most of them will not have impulse buys like chocolate, candy, sweeties, gum, things like that. The reason for this is that in Ireland in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of debate around the fact that supermarkets shouldn't be encouraging people to impulse buy bad things at the till, things that are not good for them. Obviously, when children would be with their parent and they get to the till and they'd be there for a while, they'd be begging mommy or daddy to get them the things that are bad for them and that mommy or daddy might be trying to prevent them from eating.
We want candy! We want candy!
So in Ireland, a lot of people said that this wasn't okay, and one of the huge supermarkets at the time called Super Quinn decided that they would just do away with it. Fergal Quinn, who owned Super Quinn, said no more, and at the till from then on were things like batteries, newspapers and other essential items, but no candy, no chocolate. Other supermarkets at that time said that they wanted to compete with the great publicity that encouraging healthy eating that supermarket was getting, so pretty much all of them got rid of it, except for obviously Lidl and Aldi, who still do it to this day. According to the government, it's a safe food guideline, but not a regulation. So there you have it. You're unlikely to see things that are unhealthy for you at the till. If you've been to a supermarket in another country, let me know what you found surprising about it below. And now Chewy wants to shout out a couple of patrons.
Brian Ediger would like to shout out all the single parents. He can only imagine what this last year has done to make it harder. He says, don't be afraid to ask for help or ask someone to watch your kids so you can have some time for yourself. Thanks, Brian.
Very good, Chewie. Is there anybody else you want to shout out?
Yes. Jason Moir wants to shout out everyone who is single this Valentine's Day. He likes to think he is single because he hasn't met the one person who can handle his level of awesomeness yet. Aw, happy Love Day, Jason.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's it for today's video. Bye. Go there and then go to another to get a different thing that's not untypical. Is untypical a word? Untypical. Non-typical, non-typical, atypical, atypical, atypical. This is so that if you go out, this is so that it could, this goes, oh my gosh, you can't stand up. Stand up. Are you fed up of me? I'm using you like a puppet.